Hey YouTube family, welcome back to Cooking with CB. CB, that's me. So as you can see today, we're gonna do a lovely pork shoulder. We've got about a 5-pound beast here. We're gonna smoke this thing on the grill. It should probably take us about 8 hours or so. I'm gonna do that just on my Weber 22-inch kettle grill. All right, so let's get started with some of this prep work. First things first, we're gonna line this thing up with salt, kosher salt, just a nice thin layer. All right, so let's go ahead and flip it over to that other side. So now what we want to do is we want to cut some lines in this fat cap here, because that's going to allow our jerk seasoning and our other seasonings to be able to penetrate down through the meat. If we were just to put it on top of the fat, it really wouldn't penetrate down into the meat. So now that we've got some slits cut in there, let's go ahead and finish salting. Make sure you lift up every little piece of fat, get in every crease, get that thing covered. All right, now we're going to go ahead and start with our marinade. So again, I use Walker's Wood jerk seasoning made in St. Anne, Jamaica. It's authentic. It's pretty much the best thing you can get where I am. So go ahead and put about 4 tablespoons or so of that. You're going to take some olive oil, do about a tablespoon or 2 of that. Pour that in. Take some browning, just a dash, about a half a teaspoon. And then I also do a dash of Worcestershire sauce. All right, so just go ahead and mix that up. Oh, you know what? I almost forgot my black pepper. Put that black pepper in, about a half a teaspoon or so of that as well. So go ahead and mix that up with your hand or your fingers. Work that in as much as you can and get in all those creases. Try to get it in wherever you can and massage it in there. Yeah, just massage it in there. So once you get to the point where you pretty much got all your creases filled, you got it rubbed in as good as you think you can. We're just going to kind of let this thing sit. We're going to wrap it up and let it sit for about 45 minutes or so. And then we're going to go out to the grill and get the coals started. All right, so we're going to head on outside. We got our grill here. We're going to go ahead and just dump our coals on one side because we're going to go indirect heat on this. Now the goal for this is to get this first batch of coals to burn for about 3 hours or so. As you can see, I have my secondary grill over there. I will be using that to heat up additional briquettes as I need them throughout the cook. So I just get my little fire starter there, light it up, and then I get like a little funnel situation with my coals where they burn down the line, kind of like dominoes falling, and that allows them to cook for a lot longer. Go ahead and put my grate in, and then I'll just kind of sit back and wait for my coals to heat up. Okay, so while those coals are heating up, I just kind of kick back on the deck, enjoy a cold one, and wait until they get hot. That's about 45 minutes. All right, so let's fast forward to that 45 minutes. My coals are starting to grate through a little bit. So now I'm just going to take my internal heat thermometer, and I'm going to put it on that indirect side where I'll be cooking. Put the lid on and give it a few minutes, and wait until I get to that 225 to 250 range I'm looking for. Okay, so I've successfully done that after a few minutes. So now I will go ahead and lift that grate off. Okay, so now once we have the grate off, we're going to grab our wood chips. These are hickory chips here. I've had them soaking in beer for about half a day since the morning. So we're going to sprinkle those over the top. They've really been saturated with that beer, so they're nice and moist. So they're going to put off a decent amount of smoke for a while, and that's what's going to give us the flavor and that pink ring, about 1/4 to a 1/2 inch inside of that pork, and that's where a lot of that flavor is going to come from. So go ahead and put your grate back on, and now we're going to put that pork shoulder on. We're going to put it with the fat cap side down. And one thing that I neglected to do here, but I caught it later, was put your drip pan underneath, because you're gonna want those drippings later to add them to your sauce. All right, so go ahead and grab your internal. I'm going to use it as an internal air thermometer because I want to make sure my temperature's staying at that 225 to 250 that I'm looking for. So I'm going to put it right there where the heat makes contact with the meat. Put my top back on and just keep an eye on my temperature and let this thing go for a couple of hours. Then we'll come back and check on it. All right, we're looking in at about 1.5 hours now. As you can see, it's still smoking, kicking up dust, as I like to say. So let's fast forward here to about 3 hours now. We're going to take the lid off this thing for the first time and see how we looking. It's looking pretty good. As you can see, it's got a nice color to it. but my coals are starting to die down. I was only holding about 209 for my temp, so time to just go ahead and pop the lid off. And let's take a look at it here and see how it's looking. Yeah, that looks real good. So what we're going to do now is go ahead and set that aside, and we're going to pop the top on our secondary grill. And we've got some coals there that I went ahead and started. I got them grayed out, and we're just going to shovel those into our main grill so that we can so that we're able to hold our temp. Okay, now we're gonna throw some more wood chips on top of the fire. Again, we want these wood chips to be able to hold for about the life of the coals, which is about 2 to 3 hours. They've been soaked through for a really long time now at this point, so they should be letting off that smoke for a decent amount of time there. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and put our pork shoulder back on the grill. But we've been cooking it on that skin side down now for about 3 hours, so we're just gonna go ahead and flip it over. We want to switch sides, and then now that fat side will really render all that juice and flavor all the way through the meat as it penetrates, and then we'll catch what's left over in that drip pan. As you can see, we've already caught a little bit. So go ahead and flip that over, and then once again we want to really capture the internal temperature of the grill as opposed to the meat at this point in time. So we're going to go ahead and put that back in there and put our lid back on. All right, guys, so we let that thing go for about another 3 hours. I had to throw the 3 up there just to kind of remind myself. Okay, in Ohio, Mother's Day, we had a huge storm. So I kind of had to build a tent to cover up the grill. So I'm going to try to speed this cooking process up outside. So I'm going to go with what they call the Texas cheat method. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and wrap that pork shoulder in foil and put it back out there. And hopefully I can get it up to that 190 temp in about another 2 hours. So for my sauce, I just mixed about 2 tablespoons of that Walker's Wood. And then whatever your favorite barbecue sauce is, mix those 2 up, get them nice and warm, and then put it on top of there, paint it. That's how it looks after you get it put on there. I'm gonna wrap that thing up, and we're gonna go on the smoker for another 2 hours. All right, guys, 2 hours later, the moment of truth is here. I've been poking it a little bit and tested out at that 190, about 195 that we're looking for. So let's go ahead and peel it open and see how it's looking. It smells really good. As soon as I brought it in the house, I mean, it just filled up the room. It just smells amazing. Man, this thing looks good. It looks really, really good. Man, you can see where that fat just kind of went through and flavored the meat. That jerk, that barbecue sauce. It's just a really beautiful color. All right, now let's go ahead and take a look. Just put it up on the side here. See that bone? The bone is nice and white. You could almost just pull it out of there. All right, so here's a quick look at the sides. I just did some spinach and some onion and garlic, and then just roasted some potatoes as well. So that's how it looks when you cut it open, nice and juicy. It's all the way done, cooked through. Man, it's time to plate this thing up. Oh, here we go. We all plated up. Look at that pink from the smoke. Look, that's a great plate. Happy Mother's Day, guys. Until the next one. Peace.